formation. Zoom master, please start recording. Welcome to Leadership Speak, an advanced Toastmaster club for leadership development. We are one of the top 5 clubs globally. I am Irish Casnella, your sergeant at arms of the meeting. Our club mission: we provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Leadership statement. Leadership Speak is a premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has virtual hand raised, so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Phibian. Phibian is an accomplished Toastmaster with over 4 years of experience, currently excelling as the VP of membership of legendary Toastmasters Club. He embodies the mindset that if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. And this belief propels him in his relentless pursuit of improving his communication and leadership skills. Please help me welcome the Toastmasters of the day, Phibian. Over to you.
Thank you, Iris. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I am from the beautiful Guyana, the land of many waters. And everyone who is on this call today, I would love for you to put on your videos and also to post in the chat which country you are from so that we will be able to see. As you are doing that, I will also like to welcome our first time guest and not forgetting our returning guests to Leadership Speak. Here at Leadership Speak, we believe that connection is vital in building a relationship. And for that reason, I will ask Irene to post our guest book in our chat so that our guest can fill that book so that we can connect with you later and throughout our meeting today. Our theme, leading with optimism. Have you ever stepped into a leadership role and felt completely disconnected from the people you were meant to lead? I have. 7 years ago, fresh out of the University of Guyana, I was promoted to a management position. I was tasked to lead 25 persons. Some were twice my age. Some were big like my parents, old like my grandparents. I had no real training. And because of that, I had little confidence. I can still remember my first meeting, standing in front of them, unsure what to say. I was hesitant, I was cautious, and I was very afraid to lead. But that changed when I joined Toastmasters and later joined this club, Leadership Speak. There is where I learned something powerful. Leadership isn't about having all the answers. However, it's about connection. It's about showing up, listening, asking the right question, and most of all, leading with optimism. And optimism isn't blind positivity. It's the belief that challenges have solutions, that uncertainty brings opportunity, and that leadership is about progress and not perfection. At Leadership Speak, optimism isn't something we talk about, it's something we do. Every session, leaders show up, they challenge each other, and most of all, we collaborate. And at the end of it, we leave better than we arrived. And to our guests, you will witness this today because at the end of this session, I guarantee you will be leaving better than you arrived. And here is what I have come to believe. Optimism turns uncertainty into possibility. So if I can leave you with one thought, and that will be leadership isn't about knowing the way, it's about believing there is one. Lead with optimism, and the path will reveal itself. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move to our next segment, I would like to invite Buhari to master. Can you spotlight Buhari? Thank you very much. Buhari will be doing our toast today. And one thing about Buhari is always have a smile on his face. I never saw him without a smile on his face. Buhari, the virtual lectern is yours.
Thank you so much, the Toastmaster of the day. Dear guests and Toastmasters, optimism is not just a mindset. It's a powerful force that turns setbacks into stepping stones. I remember my first year at the university, a time when I nearly gave up. My first year GPA was below 2.0, a result that shook my confidence and made me question whether it would have been easy to surrender to doubt, to accept defeat. But optimism, though faint at first, became my anchor. I chose to believe that my future will never be determined by one bad semester. With renewed hope, focus, perseverance, and a mindset shift, I kept pushing forward. Fast forward to my final year, and in my last semester, I achieved something I once thought impossible. Perfect 5.0 GPA. That experience taught me a vital lesson that optimism is not just about hoping for the best. It's about working towards it. Great leaders understand this. They see setbacks as setups for comebacks. They inspire confidence even when challenges arise. They remind us that no failure is final unless we stop trying. I would leave you with the words of Henry Rollins that said, "Optimism wears heavy boots, and mine is loud." So this morning, we are going to raise a glass to this kind of leadership that chooses hope over despair, resilience over resignation, and progress over perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, please unmute your mics. Turn on your videos. Open your videos and raise your glasses. Here is to relentless belief. Relentless belief.
Relentless belief.
Relentless belief. Cheers.
Cheers.
Yes. Thank you so much. And back to you, the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Moharrer. Relentless belief. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move swiftly to, as I introduce our role players. I will first call on our timer, Nalini, who will now come and say what she will be doing as the timer. Nalini? Kindly unmute your mic.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today I am your timer. My name is Nelly Ayodo. I shall time you according to the times on the agenda. After each session, I shall post them in the chat box. Mr. Toastmaster, I shall flash my cards as follows. At the end of each session, I shall post in the chat box. Back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Nelly, for reminding that the timer hands will be raised and you will be posting the time in our chat box as per the agenda. Our next role player will be the grammarian, Gada. May I ask you to explain your role? Thank you.
Hello, Toastmasters. My roles as grammarians are first comment on positive and negative usage of English during the meeting and write down who used the word of the day and count the numbers of times that each speaker speaking used the pause filler such as or and I will also present or introduce the word of the day, which is considerate. It's an adjective, and its meaning is careful not to inconvenience or harm others. For example, she was unfailingly kind and considerate. Our president, Raham, is always considerate when dealing with members. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Gada. I saw Bram acknowledge that considerate. Thank you very much. To lead with optimism means to inspire belief in possibilities and to approach challenges with clarity, confident, and purposeful action. Today, our first speaker, Francoise Brown, will share how leaders can lead with faith in any environment, transforming the space for better and inspiring others both directly and indirectly to believe they can do the same. Before I invite her, I'll first call on her evaluator, DTM Tony. Hi, Tony.
Yeah, hello, thank you very much. Francoise is presenting from the Effective Coaching Pathway. Her project is the Prepare to Speak Professionally. Now, the purpose of this presentation is for Francoise to present a keynote style speech in such a way that an excellent speaker will be able to present a point of view in a very effective manner. Now, Francoise has asked me to look for certain things, such as glaring points that sticks to the substance of her presentation. In other words, to watch out to make sure she doesn't lose the audience's attention. Now, this is very important to Francoise because we know that feedback is critical to leadership growth. And she is preparing this presentation for an event in mid-April that has the potential of being transformational to her audience's life. Those are my words. That's my understanding from our communication. So I'm going to ask everyone to join me in helping to provide feedback to Francoise, which will require on our part active listening and critical thinking. So let's be ready to support one of our excellent members in developing her leadership growth in this potentially transformational presentation. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
The Toastmaster has dropped off due to technical difficulties. So Francoise, it's all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you for the introduction to my evaluator, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you for allowing me to speak in this Global Growth Club. This is a wide audience with different cultures, experiences, and more, who will take away from my speech, from my presentation today, at least one thing that you can take back with you in your neck of the woods. You've heard the theme, Leading with Optimism, and my speech title is Lead in Optimism. Now, interesting fact about my topic is it is simple to do and simple not to do. That's right. It's simple to do and it is simple not to do. I'll be focusing on the following areas throughout my presentation, which requires your input via a conversation and the active chat. Yes. So I'll be, so we're going to have a conversational presentation today. So not just me talking all along. I'd like to hear from you as well. So the three areas that I'm going to be focusing on with leading with optimism is 1, Toastmasters in leadership, 2, work in leadership, 3, home in leadership, and 4, speaking about social play. But it's all in 3 points, but let me immerse you right now and let you know more. So the topic at hand is a deep, deep seawater. This is not the shallow one. You come to the beach and you're staying on the shoreline and swimming in the sand. That's what we like to say here in Antigua. No, you're not going to be swimming in the sand while the tide is hitting you. No, this is going all out deep into the water. And it experiences through tested and trial where once I led from cautious optimistic to confident optimistic. Now, let me have a question here. Anybody ever heard that slogan, cautious optimism to confident optimism? Anyone ever heard something like that before? Cautious, or what do you think it means? Cautious optimism to confident optimism, where we're going to lead to optimism. Anyone, let me hear. What do you think it means?
Well, if you want me to say, I think it is about having a good faith that things will turn out well, but you're cautious, and then you really get the confidence that, oh yeah, it'll work out anyways. I believe that's what you're getting to.
That's right. That's a good one. Nobody is wrong, okay? Nobody is wrong. This is also a good one. Anyone else? Anybody? And that is true, Ron, because you know, you like, okay, I want to walk on the water. I can walk on the water, and I will run on the water.
Yeah, come in. Hold on.
I suggest it could mean building trust in a safe way.
Right, building trust in the civic way. Correct. Well, that's a good one as well too. Thank you so much. I heard a female voice as well too that was coming through. I see a hand up. Sylvia Warrington.
Thank you, Francoise. My definition basically is being cautious, afraid of the criticisms that you may get, but you want to propel forward, knowing that in the end, with your beliefs, that this will work out the way that you want it to in terms of that goal or mindset that you have going forward.
Wonderful. That as well is another valid point. Thank you so much as well for that. AD Sylvia, Area Director Sylvia, thank you so much for that. And I saw Holmes. Tang.
Yes, hello. I work as a project manager. So when I hear conscious optimism, the first thing comes to my mind is that it is my job to recognize all the areas where the project might fail. But even that, I put in plans and I work as hard as possible to get the best outcome out of the limitations that I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And as I said, all the responses, there's nobody wrong. Nobody's wrong at all. Every response that we have heard definitely line up with what is cautious optimism and wanting to be confident at the end of the day. And I'm going to speak a quote that we all love for one of our big leadership guru from John C. Maxwell, who is a firm leader, someone who knows the way and take responsibility. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So I'm going to start off first with my first point. The focus is on Toastmasters. What are the stories we keep telling ourselves? The stories we keep telling ourselves will either break us or make us. My first point is focusing on Toastmasters. What are the stories we keep telling ourselves? The floor is open and I need to get your feedback. Go. What are the stories we keep telling ourselves as a Toastmaster? What we keep telling ourselves? What is it we keep telling our members?
About personal success.
Personal success.
Yes. If I did it once, I can do it again.
Okay. Right.
Become better person.
Right.
You're building your communication skills and gaining confidence in yourself.
Right. Okay, good. Keep them coming. So far I'm hearing the language of the things that will make us. All right. So one of the things that we also keep telling ourselves as Toastmasters that can make us.
You have some comments in the chat.
All right. So let me see what we have here in the comment. Okay. So personal growth. All right. Being hopeful for good results, though we may not believe in success. Okay. Where leaders are made, personal growth, relentless belief. Okay. Right? Correct. Yes. Now, I'm going to ask a question. Did we watch the recent board of directors meeting? Did we? We watched it? Anyone watched it yesterday? It was sent in an email. We all watched it? All right.
Yes, I did.
Wonderful. And we all love our Toastmasters. And just from watching it, we know that we want the best for our members. So here's a question. Listening to what was shared, are you going to be leading from confident optimism, or let me be cautious about, like, okay, the clubs are folding, we're growing, we're this. I mean, tell me what one thing that you would you want to do, what you think you're going to do going forward in the new year? Well, when I say the new year, we have the tightest month, April to June. What a few things that you say, you know what, I am going to lead confident, or let me just be cautious. Let me hear from you.
Well, if you're going to ask me, then you know that members of Leadership Speak are highly motivated. They're inspired individuals. They're high-impact individuals. And that's why we have more than 60 members from 30 different countries, because they are engaged well. How engaged they are? Of course, they're beginning to gauge the new members. That is, gauge what does it mean to be engaged in an advanced club. But for the guests here, I would love to hear from the guests from other clubs as to what's going on with them. Like Tina. Tina is here from Meadowville Toastmasters Club, which is in District 86. Would love to hear her opinion. Tina, you're on the spot.
Hi, Brahm, and good morning, everybody. Could you please repeat the question? Sorry.
Yes, from the board of directors meeting that was held, and we all watched it. How will you go about in the remaining year of Toastmasters? Will you lead with optimism, or will you lead confidently, or you're going to lead cautiously in your district? Because I really would love to hear from the different members, because we all are part of different clubs. So hence the reason why I really want to hear from as much persons as possible.
Of course, thank you. I would lead with confidence, and I would lead with optimism. I'm the immediate past president at the club I'm at, so that's Meadowvale Toastmasters in District 86. And I think we face the same challenges that other clubs might be facing in terms of growing, attracting members, keeping the members that you have, keeping them motivated on pathways. But I think it really comes down to tone from the top. So if as a leader you are confident, and if you lead with optimism, it's infectious to the people that are in your club. They notice how you're leading, and they want to emulate that. They want to ask, how do you do that? And then I say, it's from Toastmasters. I suffer from anxiety. I suffer from a lack of confidence sometimes in my daily life, but Toastmasters makes it better. So I think you lead by example, and then everybody else will follow.
That's it. That is it. That is it. Remember what I said earlier. Everything rises and falls on what? Leadership. John C. Maxwell. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Now I'm going to share something with you on my screen. And I'd love to get your feedback just from what you said and also from what Bram responded to. And I need to get your feedback on this. Now, you tell me. You tell me. This is a club. This is what's happening in my club right now. I'm an executive member. I am a member of what is happening. What is the solution here? Somebody tell me, what's the solution right here?
Actually, I'm sorry. This is Sylvia Warrington from District 123. And looking at this picture, it kind of reminds me of what's happening with my club. I've taken over the presidency for the club, and right now, this reminds me of myself hanging out there, bringing members in, making sure that we stay open actually past the 31st of this month. And I am basically recruiting in all my networking groups. And this reminds me here, I've had some past members who came in and they've given advice, but they're not willing to come on board to support. So this here reminds me of myself with, just hanging out there on the limb and doing everything possible to keep this club going. Mind you, I have some great mentors behind me that are pushing me and giving me the enthusiasm to keep going. But still, I look behind me and the crowd is a little bit staggering. So I've made my mind up that if this is the situation that I'm in right now, this is exactly what I'm seeing myself. I'm hanging on for dear life. I want to see this club stay open and
it
build
definitely will. It definitely
Yes.
will. Let me tell you, no matter the circumstances, okay? And I want everyone to take a good look on this photo. No matter the circumstances of your club, lead confidently. And my experience as a past president of Antigua Toastmasters Club, 2022-2023, I was very strategic and said, as a president, I'm going to lead by example. I'm going to get myself involved in an advanced club. At that time, Leadership Speak was just beginning, and I got myself involved. And then attending a lot of master classes and just being strategic. That I mean, I want my members to be able to come out of this alive. The crocodiles are happening. The lion is there. What is happening? I mean, everybody must come out on top. Nobody joined Toastmasters to become a better Toastmaster. Everybody joined Toastmasters to become a better self person. And there are times in Toastmasters that the club is like this. You're doing everything, you're burnt out, you're like, oh my goodness, but I am encouraging you. I am encouraging each and every one of you because we all make up different clubs. Some of us are in a community club. Some of us are in advanced club. And some of us may have gotten so discouraged or maybe discouraged at this time. Lead confidently. Lead, go forward. Don't think that all is lost. Still attend the club officers training, still do all of that. Refocus. Just refocus and tell yourself, I know why I became a member and I am going to do that. So in summarizing with the Toastmaster focus, the focus on leadership in Toastmasters and the takeaway from it is very simple. Meet the members' needs. Don't remain stagnant as an exco. Attend various educational events in Toastmasters to develop both yourself and the members, and encourage your members to attend the various master classes, the coach events that are happening. And this goes into my second point in lead in optimism at work. Lead in optimism in your work field. Now, what normally happens at work? Drama. Drama, 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 like we say in the Caribbean. Drama, drama, drama. But I know international is like, oh my goodness, you again? So many things happening at work. AC breakdown, the computer's running slow. The tech team is not in office. Customers are flooding in, emails back and forth. Everything is coming in like the abundance of white and, well, not white, but rice and peas. As we say in the Caribbean, rice and peas mean it is so much. We cannot say it anymore. It is so much. And your bosses are requesting your attention. Here's what I want you to understand. When you lead in optimism in your work field, ask for help. Ask for help. This is how you get better. Ask for help. There are too many times we think we must do it alone, and then we lead incautiously and like, I don't know if I should do this, and like, oh, this is ridiculous. Pray within, remain calm, ask your customers to be seated. Call the relevant persons. I need help. I'm alone. I need help. Can you help me? Leaders leading in optimism always seek for help. Seek it. And this leads me to another point, as I want us to understand. In Toastmasters, what we're learning is to lead in optimism no matter the situation. Meet the members' needs and lead with optimism within the chaos and confusion by faith, and seek help from others. My third point, which is to focus on leadership in our homes and social life, which is lead how? With optimism. Lead with optimism, lead with optimism, lead with optimism. Although we're free moral agents, we always need to think of the next generation. I want you to think on this. Are you just building about yourself? Think on that. What you're doing right now, whether in Toastmasters, in your home, at social, at your work, are you thinking about yourself, or are you thinking about the next generation? And I'm talking about physically and spiritually. Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaveth an inheritance to his children's children, and the wealth of the sinner is laid up for the just. Why accumulate all these wealth of knowledge, my fellow leaders in this call, and all the material wealth just for yourself alone? Guess what is going to happen? It's be taken away and go to the just man. What will happen to their family? The next generation, they live in turmoil. They don't know what to do because what happened? You did not pass on that wealth of knowledge. 2 weeks ago, our fellow leader, Baron, spoke about a particular family. And the particular family, it has to do with the two difference of one who spoke so well about their generation that came out 200 years later, and another who did not. And let me take you there quickly on the purpose of what happened. In 1874, Richard Douglas was employed in prison and noticed a trend of different families, and they were all prisoners. And then only to realize that their ancestor, Mr. Max Duke, was a prisoner himself, but never led an important life. And then, sadly, the generation that came out was definitely pathetic. But then there was another gentleman by the name of none other than Mr. Edwards. And from his generation, he actually spoke life to his children every day with his wife. They had 11 children. And with the 11 children, out of that generation, you would not believe what came out. Lawyers, doctors, priests, so much more. Mr. John was thinking about the next generation. He led with optimism in his home. What is my rallying call to each and every one of us as I now tie this presentation? You lead in optimism, which it came with one word, which was not said, faith. Faith. Don't be afraid in any way to think about the next generation, what you're doing. Faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The main point, leading optimism as a Toastmaster, from cautious optimism to confident optimism. At work, lead with optimism in faith. Networking, seek help. Point number 3, leading optimism at home and play. Think generational. In everything you do in word and deed, do it unto the Lord. We are analytical thinkers. Lead with optimism, which wraps up in one word, faith. Think generationally in what you're doing. We did not become a member of Toastmasters to be a better Toastmaster, but to become a better person. Back over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Toastmaster Francoise, wow. Lead with optimism is infectious. I believe that firsthand, it is very infectious. Lead with optimism, ensure that we lead with optimism by having faith. I am still puzzled as how long I will be holding on that limb if there was 2 crocodiles and a lion trying to bite me. Thank you very much for your speech today, and I'm sure our guest in our chat was very electrified, and because a lot of golden nuggets had been dropped. I would also like to ask Irene, please post our chat book, our guest book in the chat so that the guests can sign into it so that we can connect with them after our next segment of this meeting. I will firstly call on our first prepared speaker, who will be Zahra. Hi, Zahra. Zahra will be evaluated by Sandra. Sandra, can you unmute your mic and present Zahra, the purpose of Zahra's speech? Hi, Sandra.
How are you doing?
I am great.
I'm happy to be evaluating Zahra today, my first time. Zahra is speaking from her Motivational Strategies, Level 2, Project 2. And I'm sure she's going to be very considerate because she wants to apply critical thinking. So that's the big thing that she asked outside of our regular. Now she's to share the impact of her own style on others, developing a well-organized speech about some aspect of communication styles. Now she can speak about her own communication style or others, but she does not get to report it just as a project. I'm looking forward to hearing how she impacts others. Zahra? Oh, sorry, back to you, Phibian.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Zahra,
Hi.
building bridges. Take it away.
Have you ever lost a friend, a colleague, a relationship because of misunderstanding in communication? Please raise your hand. Thank you. We are in the same boat. Fellow Toastmasters and valuable guests. Effective communication is the cornerstone of human interaction. It is highly critical and influenced positively or negatively on our personal or professional life. Every individual of us has a sort of communication style or styles. And think about that. We are different. We have different communication styles. We have, let's put a vivid example on the table. Here, in Leadership Speak, we are 60 plus members from 30 countries with different cultural background. And you know, culture has very influence on communication. So we are here, in fact, to motivate and encourage each other in order to achieve our goal. And what is it? In fact, to enhance our self-directed leadership. We want to make bridges in order to become friends, stay friends. But how when we do not know how to communicate with each other? That's why I thought, well, I have been here for 5 months. This is my 6th month. So I should know what are my communication styles or how I can communicate with other members in order to build bridges. To my surprise, I found I have 2 dominant communication styles. And as it says, it is situational, right? When Zahra, number 1, is doing her research work in academia, she is precise, exact, logical, task-oriented, purposeful, love process, and learning new skills. And number 2, when I'm going to supervise my students to do their tasks, thesis, or projects, wow, I changed my communication style into direct. And what are the qualifications of that? That is result-oriented, competitive, decisive, and try to focus on a structured environment and accomplish projects as quickly as possible. With that about I myself, I thought, okay, I understand my own. What about those members at Leadership Speak? Perhaps they have other 2 dominantly. That is supportive communication style and also initiating communication style. So I try to equip myself to be ready, just like a person who wants to go to marathon, to know how to communicate with my friends and members. So I noticed those who are supportive communicators, how I should face them. I should be friendly, patient, cooperative, sympathetic, practice my active listening, provide some chances and encourage them. Go and share your thoughts, your feeling, express them, and just allow them to take decision on their own pace. What about those who are initiating communicators? Well, to tell you the truth, it becomes a little bit of my challenge because I am introvert. So I thought, okay, being friendly or sociable, it's okay, or providing the room for them to express themselves because they love socializing and sharing their stories. But still, I'm in struggle with spontaneous and fun-loving nature activities. Ladies and gentlemen, active listening is of utmost importance because it helps us to just regulate our own and the communication needs and adapt ourselves to others' communication style. We want to make bridges or build bridges. So this is very important, especially in workplace, right? It is quite important. I mean, effective communication is quite important because it leads to a strong relationship, fostering collaboration, and also trying to lead better outcome. To build bridges, I want to share a quote. Jim Rohn once says, good communication, 20% is what we know, and 80% is how we feel about what we know. To build stronger bridges, would you please think about your feeling before you respond to next communication quickly? Thank you.
Zahra, thank you very much sharing your communication style and also the importance of building bridges. We will move to our second speech for today. Our second speaker is Paramjit Singh. Paramjit, good morning from Guyana, good evening from India.
Good morning from Dubai.
Dubai, sorry.
It's okay.
Paramjit will be evaluated by Nicola White. Hi, Nicole.
Hello, greetings, everyone.
Can you say where you are coming from?
From Canada, Ontario, Canada.
Hi, perfect, awesome. Can you share the purpose of Paramjit's speech today?
Absolutely. Toastmaster Paramjit is delivering his second project, Level 2, in the Presentation Mastery Path. And this project is titled Understanding Your Communication Style. The purpose of this project is for Paramjit to learn about communication styles and identify his primary style. As well as the speech is for Paramjit to share the impact of his style on others. Now, Paramjit has asked me to look out for the speech structure, and I will be paying attention to this as he speaks. Back to you, Phibian.
Thank you very much. Paramjit, why no one understands me? Why no one understands me?
He does not understand me. He doesn't have any clue why I get frustrated. Nobody understands me. She always says, I'm criticizing, but I'm not. So, honestly, if all of you, any of you have heard or spoken such words, please nod your head. Okay. Oh, oh wow, wow. Congratulations. You are officially a human, because humans are the only one who blame others for misinterpreting them. It's like you are telling a story to your friend and he is looking like you are going to speak in English, or you are speaking in Java or C++. Basically, whenever somebody misunderstands us, we feel it is his problem. Surprisingly, it can be our problems also. Because the point is, the meaning of the communication is the response you get. So if you are being continuously misjudged or misinterpreted, you must change your approach for the communication. And I learned it a very hard way. When one of my NLP trainer dropped a truth bomb. If you ask for something and you don't get it, it means you have not asked the right way. It changed my total perspective about communication. Means communication is not about talking. It is about being understood. And then there's another wake-up call. With the Toastmaster project, understanding your communication style. Now I thought, oh, wow, this is absolutely a right time and way to prove that my communication style is the best. But surprisingly, it wasn't. Because what I heard and what I learned by going through the papers and our projects, that why I get frustrated in my weekly official meetings. And I will start. Oh, team, we have a new design. Let's discuss. But in between, my boss will immediately cut. Oh, leave it. Just tell me what is the decision, where we are moving. And our purchase manager, oh my goodness. Paramjit, unless you give me a data, I am not going to pass it. This looked like an episode of a reality show or a Clash of Titans. In fact, it was not a clash of titans, but it was a clash of different communication styles. I am a blend of sportive and initiative way of communication, always encouraging, always on the top. I am looking for things to do. And my boss is very direct, straight to the point. And he just moves on. And my purchase manager, he always look for data, analyze everything. I don't know what he does with all these Excel sheets. He sleeps with the sheets. He eats with the sheets. I don't know what he should do with the sheets unless, and then he gave us our body. Now this, I understood that they're all different styles. This doesn't stop here. I have another battleground at my home. My elder sister, okay, let us see. I am in a basketball ground. And my elder sister, she is absolutely very straight. She will not pass to anyone. She will just throw the ball for the net. And if you are in her way, it is your problem. My brother, very analytical. He will judge all positions, all potentials of the opponents, and then he will pass the ball. My younger sister, she doesn't mind who scores unless we are winning. And she wants everyone, she's very sportive, she wants everyone to be part of it. And I'm sitting outside, initiator, making a new strategies for them. And on the top of it, we have a special extra player My wife. She knows how to fit in any place with any type of communication at any juncture. So the learning was that there is no wrong or right communication. It is different communication styles. I can't expect people to always adjust to my style. If people sees me as like a sportive, encouraging, considerate, it doesn't mean that being nice every time is going to produce the results. And I have faced the same in my life for being nice. So now the next step was to get a better results. I must adjust. I must be flexible. Maybe I have to change to a sportive or maybe an analytical style or maybe even direct sometime, depending upon the situations. So my dear fellow communicators and human beings, whenever you are communicating with somebody and you are not getting the response you are expecting, don't get frustrated. Change the approach. If you've required, again, change the approach. And once you get the desired results, celebrate. Congratulations. Now you have become a master communicator. Or at least, if not the master communicator, you have stopped people saying that nobody understands me. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Paramjit, for reminding us that there is no wrong or right way to communicate because of the different communication styles. Change your approach to suit the communication style that you want to attend to. We will move into our third speaker. Our third speaker is Hannah. Hello, Hannah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank
Hannah,
you.
awesome. Hannah will be evaluated by Holmes.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Holmes. Holmes, can you share with us the purpose of Hannah's speech today?
Definitely. Hello, everyone. Today's Hannah's speech is for her to share some aspect of her primary leadership style and also have a short discussion of leadership styles in general. In my personal interaction with her about this speech, she has also shared that she hopes to encourage others to use one particular style that she wants to talk about today and ask if how her speech is able to facilitate the audience to be inspired to use this style. Looking forward to your speech, Hannah. Back to Toastmasters of the day, Phibian.
Holmes, thank you for sharing the purpose of Hannah's speech. Hannah, the title of Hannah's speech is Leading from Behind. Leading from behind. Hannah.
I never lose. I either win or I learn. Words by Nelson Mandela. Ladies and gentlemen, that is optimism. Mr. Toastmaster, fear of missing out on opportunities. I never sought a leadership position. I was reluctant to take on a leadership role. It seemed far simpler and easier to follow the flow, avoiding decisions, responsibilities, and the accountability, adopting a more relaxed attitude instead. And this laid-back attitude continued throughout my childhood and early adulthood. Upon completing my high school and entering the business world, I experienced firsthand the effects of both authoritarian and pace-setting leadership. I encountered an autocratic leader, and under this strongly authoritarian manager, it became evident how challenging it was for me and numerous of my employees to adapt to this approach to leadership. The boss did not welcome feedback, which hindered creativity and innovation. He set high expectations and was perplexed at our stress and overwhelm, which was evident in our results. The mandate to follow my orders, I am in control, was a definite deal breaker. I ignored, restricted, and unable to advance in my career with such a leader. I made the tough and essential decision. I resigned. I have lost the ability to work under this boss. Hey, I have realized that leadership fosters ownership and increased responsibility, and driven by curiosity and a thirst for that knowledge, I embraced this newfound freedom. Leadership success is achieved when we possess a clear purpose, a guiding vision, and the bravery to chase our goals, despite the uncertainty of the path ahead. Ultimately, I recognize that leading with optimism fosters ownership and enhances responsibility. My curiosity and eagerness to learn all about leadership started to grow. I began the journey. Bill Bradley's words say, leadership is an unlocking people's potential to become better. My dear friend and mentor, Jessica, she saw the determination for me to break free, the need of validation, and unlock my potential so that I could confidently step into leadership and become better. She recognized my ambition and introduced me to Toastmasters, a challenge I fully embraced. This decision was a turning point that changed everything. Fast forward. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know? Toastmasters International offers a powerful assessment to evaluate leadership potential. I took the leap, I participated, and the results revealed. I was surprised by the outcome of the leadership style evaluation offered by them. The test revealed that my leadership style is primarily coaching, mentoring, followed by servant leadership. This outcome was unexpected. With grit and determination and Jessica's support, I have won and I have learned. I now possess the confidence to pursue my career inside of Toastmasters as well as outside of Toastmasters. As a member of the Old Wheelers Club and organizer of vintage car outings, I apply this coaching and leadership skills I gained from Toastmasters. The feedback we receive from participants, fellow club members, the public, and the Old Wheelers management inspires us to keep on learning and winning. My marshals faced these challenges with enthusiasm, demonstrating a strong commitment and responsibility. I discovered that leading from behind inspired the team to advance while I offered gentle guidance. King Chaka's words spring to mind. A leader who has not prepared his team for his absence has failed as a leader. To conclude, ladies and gentlemen, take up the challenge to discover your leadership style. And remember, Nelson Mandela said, I never lose. I either win or learn. Uncover your leadership potential and rise to the challenge by leading from behind. Mr. Toastmaster.
And that was Hannah. I never lose. I either fail and learn and win. A leader who has not prepared his team for his absence has failed. Golden nuggets being dropped today. We move to our fourth speaker, who is no other than Angela Brown. Angela will be evaluated by Yuseline Joseph. Hi, Yuseline.
Hi, Phibian. Hi, everyone.
Can you share the purpose of Angela's speech today?
Toastmaster Brown will present a speech on the project Evaluation and Feedback. She will present her first speech. The purpose of this project is to practice applying feedback and serve as a speech evaluator during a club meeting. The purpose of this speech is for her to present a speech and receive feedback from the evaluator. She has 5 to 7 minutes.
Thank you very much. Angela, title of her speech, Bittersweet Goodbyes and New Beginning. Bittersweet Goodbyes and New Beginning. Angela.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Tell me, has anyone grown up with siblings who always got their own way? Just put a hand up. I'm sure we've all had siblings like that. I was going to bring you back to my childhood, back to Jamaica, where I grew up with my grandmother, my sister, my cousin, and my older sister. The three of us, myself, my sister, and my cousin, were like siblings. And we're always together, whether we liked it or not. Growing up in Jamaica with my grandmother, my grandmother was very strict, but we always had a lot of fun, a lot of laughter, and a little bit of sibling rivalry. My older sister always got her own way. We knew right away that she was my grandmother's favorite and usually got what she wanted. One memory brings me back to my mother, who was living in Canada, sent us 3 dresses, one for my sister, one for me, and one for my cousin. Looking at the sizes, we could tell which dress was for who. The 2 yellow dresses were for me and my sister, and the blue dress was for my cousin. But my sister had other plans. She wanted the blue dress. She was not going to wear the yellow dress because she didn't want to be in the same dress as me. She argued so much. She was fierce. She fought so fierce, you would think that she was negotiating a peace treaty. But guess what? She won. She got her way. She got the blue dress. My poor cousin was left wearing a dress that was too short for her. My mother, who was living in Canada, decided that it was time for me, because of my deterring health, She wanted us to come to Canada. So she sent for myself and my sister. Of course, this was bittersweet. We had to say goodbye to my cousin, who was like a sibling, and to my grandmother, who was like a mother, who had raised us for 6 years. Coming to Canada was like new beginnings. We were so excited to see my mom because we hadn't seen her for a long time. In Canada, my sister and I found we had another sister. So back there was 3 of us again, like the 3 Musketeers. And I was able to get life-saving surgery that I needed for my health. But after several years, my mother, who I realized that it was just too hard for her to raise 3 children on her own. So she made the agonizing decision to send my sister and I back to Jamaica to live with my grandmother. Once again, it was bittersweet. The past was coming right back around. And as much as we wanted to go to Jamaica, we wanted to see my grandmother and my cousin, we also didn't want to leave my mom. But that was life. Going back to Jamaica, it was great to live with my grandmother again, to be in a warm country, no snow. Now, at this time, we were teenagers. And my grandmother, who was already strict, got even more strict. We got permission from her to go to a party. She said, I have one rule, you have to be back by midnight. At around 11:30, I said to my sister and my cousin, come on, we need to start walking back home. It's 11 o'clock. Sorry, it's 11:30 p.m. But they had other ideas. Rules were just like suggestions to them. So they didn't want to leave. We finally arrived home at around 1 a.m. and found the gate was locked. We couldn't get in. My grandmother was looking up at us from the balcony like a lion, looking at her praise and not willing to let us in. My sister's boyfriend had the idea, which I thought it was a genius idea, or appears to be for foolishness, to climb the fence to go over and open the door, the gate from the inside. But what he didn't know was that my grandmother had lined the top of the gate with broken glass. Yes, I said it, broken glass, to deter burglars. So he climbed up there like a knight in armor, the armor, wanting to look good for us, a knight in shining armor. He climbs up on the fence, and then we hear he screams, and we just see blood everywhere on his hand. My grandmother now ran down to the gate, opened it up, and she wrapped the towel around his hand and rushed him to the hospital. Luckily, with a few stitches, he was okay. My grandmother said, if you had come back on time, this would never have happened. She had no remorse, no sympathy, no empathy, just a lesson served up Jamaican grandmother style. That was what she said. Yeah, she was right. But we thought under the circumstances she could have apologized, but that was never going to happen. Life in Jamaica with my grandmother was fun. She showed us a lot of love, but a lot of life lessons too. One important life lesson is don't break the rules, or at least don't get caught breaking them. Thank you.
Thank you, Angela, for sharing your story with us. And we definitely would always remember, don't break the rules. Ladies and gentlemen, we move to our final speaker for today, who is no other than Lydiah. Lydiah will be evaluated by Miriam. So, Master, can you kindly spotlight Lydiah and her evaluator?
Toastmaster of the day. Can I say something?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, actually, Lydiah, which sent to me message because she don't have the power of the in her place, she cannot attend the meeting. Just few minutes, she sent for me message by WhatsApp.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings the end of our prepared speeches. And I must say that a lot of golden nuggets have been dropped today. And to our dear guest, I know you are enjoying this session. And I just want to remind you that there is a guest book in our chat that is there for you to sign in so that we could connect with you. And remember what I said earlier, when you leave today, you will not leave the same way you entered, because with all these golden nuggets, there's something for you to take away. At this time, I call on our general evaluator for today's meeting. Daniel has been a Toastmaster since 2010. He has joined the Nairobi Toastmasters Club, which he was among the first existing before District 11, 114. I think someone is unmuted. Master, can you kindly mute that? Thank you very much. Dan has a career in insurance sales advisor, a life business and speaking coach, and he's also passionate about providing exceptional service. Dan, the virtual lecture is yours.
Thank you so much, Phibian, Toastmaster of the Day, for a well-run meeting so far. We move on to the part of Toastmasters meetings where we get feedback. Toastmasters meetings we call them master classes, and a master class in evaluation, a master class in presentation, a master class in running the meeting. This evening, this morning, this afternoon, I have the privilege of being the general evaluator who will now take reports and get feedback for the meeting that has run thus far. I'd like to start off by calling on the evaluator for the toast of the day. We have Hannah Schmidt. Hannah Schmidt, all the way from Namibia. Please tell us about your feedback on the toast of the day. Over to you, Hannah.
Certainly, General Evaluator and Moharrer. A toast at Leadership Speak serves as an opening speech that immediately resonates with the audience, setting the tone for the meeting. Moharrer, your warm welcome instantly created a sense of connection. Well done. You shared a personal story that aligned with the theme, engaging the audience effectively and emphasizing perseverance. With an unwavering optimism, you delivered a well-prepared toast, demonstrating how your positive outlook kept you moving forward and prevented you from giving up. You reinforced the importance of perseverance, inspiring confidence and conveying the powerful message that we must keep pushing forward despite challenges. Your message of hope rather than despair left a lasting impact. Thank you again, Moharrer, for that wonderful toast. Mr. General Evaluator. Mr. General Evaluator? I think he...
Hannah, his video is not on. That's why we are not able to
I
spotlight.
think he has fallen off.
No, it's okay. He's
Thank
here.
you. Thank you, Hannah, for that evaluation. Well done. First of all, telling us, I mean, you brought out explanation why the toast is important. Very well done. And then the positive feedback you gave to Moharrer encourages him to actually, on giving what his toast, he did well, and how he wrapped it up, and what things we look for in as a toast in leadership speak. Well done with that. Very positive. Well done. Well thought of. And in toast and in leadership speak, we say, is a toast, how is the critical thinking for the toast? And this was done well with you. Thank you for that, Hannah. We've learned a lesson, and I know Moharrer will take it and grow in leaps and bounds from it. Our next evaluator will be evaluating the Toastmaster of the Day, Phibian. And we have all the way from India, Bindu Thakapan. Please give us your evaluation and your feedback to the Toastmaster of the Day. Over to you, Bindu.
Thank you very much, Dan Adair, General Evaluator. Very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are. Phibian, wonderfully done MC of Leadership Speak meeting, 29th March 2025. How well you have done it? Fantastically. Because of the following reasons. You had introduced the theme of the meeting, the lead with optimism, in a very fantastic. You neutrally introduced each speaker, but also was able to connect with the role player, that is, evaluate by asking like question, where are you from? And good afternoon and good evening from wherever place they are. Wow, what more do you want to connect to a particular person? More than this. Well, you were able to summarize the speech of every speaker at the end of the speaker in one simple sentence so that the audience could grab the takeaway message of that speech, even if they missed hearing that speech. Very well done. And it was very calm, composed, and confident manner. You were able to bring zeal and enthusiasm in every way possible. Your Zoom presence was good, but I'm so considerate to you because you had a poor bandwidth. So the audibility was not that good, though your presence was fantastic. How can you make it more effective as the Toastmaster of the day? The theme that lead with optimism, you could reverberate it every time one speaker ends the speak, and then you introduce another speaker. You could very well tell the theme of the meeting also and connect with the speech of each speaker. You can make sure the bandwidth, you get a good bandwidth. You know, your speech is so awesome and we want to hear from you from 0 to the end. To summarize, an effective, very effective Toastmaster of the day in Leadership Speaks meeting. If you could really consider about the bandwidth and persuading the audience with the theme of the meeting, you can make it to a great Toastmaster of the day. Over to you, Dan Odero.
Thank you, Bindu. That was done well. You came up with also a positive feedback there, suggestions on what they can do to make the speech a little bit better. Great suggestions you had there. Well done. And then also something about how his bandwidth can improve a little. It's something sometimes you cannot do about it, but consider it. The words you put in there, have somebody to think about it. And also for all of us, sometimes our bandwidth doesn't work. What can we do to change it? What can we do to make it better? Thank you for that, Bindu. Helpful, on the point, summarized, so we can take some points home. In 2 to 3 minutes, you've done a great job with it. Thank you for that feedback to our Toastmaster of the day. We move on to our next evaluator, who will be evaluating our education speaker, and we are privileged to have Tony Bratschitsch. Over to you, Tony, to give us your feedback on Francoise' speech and presentation on the education. Over to you, Tony.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and guests, and especially Francoise. Francoise, you asked me to provide some critical thinking to your presentation for improvement for your special mid-April event that you'll be working on. Now, your project was effective coaching. And effective means, the word effective means getting things done right. And coaching is a leadership style that's used to convince the audience or to have them consider to make a change with a call to action. That's what you provided later. I believe that your call to action was replace fear with faith. And you had to persuade us to do that. And there's 2 types of persuasion. Very simply, we can push as a leader, or we can pull as a leader. Now, pushing, of course, sometimes is required, where it's forceful. You know, a leader has to be sometimes coercive or set a high pace. Or in pulling, a leader uses coaching and asks the audience, try this. And that was the purpose of your presentation, was to coach. And you were interacting with us from the very beginning by asking us many questions and getting our input and providing us with feedback. So it was very powerful how you were trying to coach with persuasion using the pull effect. You also contributed 4 points for consideration, and you worked your way through those 4 points. I have a suggestion. 1 or 2 stories instead of 4. Now, I'm going to go to the first photograph, the photograph you gave us, and I'd like to elaborate just a bit longer on that. It was a picture of a man hanging from a limb, panicking, 2 alligators below waiting for him to tire. So if he did nothing, he would have fallen, right? A tree with a snake climbing on the limb, and either a wolf or a lion waiting if you got past that. My point is this. We were left hanging, literally hanging, because I think you should have walked us through the solution. The solution was there. Now, like most of us, I reacted with panic when I saw that, and I looked at the chat, and I didn't see any solutions there that would work. I would have liked to have seen you work us through that solution, and it was there. If we replaced the panic with faith, knowing we're going to have a plan that we could quickly grab the snake, whip it down to the two alligators and have them fight over that snake, climb onto the trunk of the tree, reach down, because there was an axe on the ground. There was an axe on the ground in the photo. Reach down, grab the axe, and fight off the wolf or the lion, and we're on solid ground. And there we have it. Faith has replaced fear, and we're on solid ground. That would have been a complete picture to me for this effective coaching session. So therefore, I would say you summarize. A great type of interactive, effective coaching session using the right persuasive skill to pull us into a situation with a very important topic of having faith, leading with faith to solve problems one at a time. Then we're on solid ground. You're going to do well in mid-April, and people's lives will be transformed because you are a leader. Thank you, Francoise.
Thank you, Tony. What a wonderful evaluation and feedback and analysis of what things were done well and some consideration she makes. This is all done. Not only a lesson for Francoise, but for all of us. What are the things that we can think about, what we can put in there, and how we can do it? This was done very well, Tony. Thank you for that. What a consideration might make, there's a lot of good points, but remember we've only got 2 to 3 minutes. So some of those points, just put up a few points, and then the evaluator can meet with the speaker later to give more key ones as we're talking here for the 2 to 3 minutes, the key points, the summary of that, so that we stick within time. Otherwise, sometimes we go over time, and we're trying to Toastmasters as much as possible. How can we keep within the 2 to 3 minutes? But well done with it. Great suggestion, great analysis, great pointers on how to get better, and great encouragement of she will definitely do well with it. We go on to our next evaluator, the Queen of Straight Talk, Sandra Vogue. Please give us your evaluation for the speaker. Over to you, Sandra.
Thank you, Dan. I want to thank Zahra for having the courage to have me evaluate. I shall be considerate. And note that this is a motivational strategies project. So I like to always think about what's my path that I'm on, even though I'm doing the project of communication style or any project within that whole process. And I did find you motivating. And you want me to apply some critical thinking to this, so I'll do my best to match that up. I like that you went right into a very thoughtful, have you ever lost a relationship because? Now, I wouldn't worry about waiting for the audience to put their hand up. I find that chat business and waiting for the audience to respond takes too much time away in a 5 to 7 minute speech. Even in a keynote, I don't like getting interrupted too much there. You could just put your hand up, assuming and expecting that, of course, people are, but you don't need to wait for it. You have an excellent speaking pace and your enunciation very clear. I found you are thinking on your feet, even while you're speaking. Now, we know it's a prepared speech, so you're not really thinking on your feet. But when you are thinking on your feet in that delivery, it's a beautiful way to connect to the audience. And in this case, the audience is me. Whenever we're serving the audience, you just have to be serving as an audience. You need to be responding to how is it affecting me. So I find that delivery style of thinking on your feet, it's thoughtful and connects to me very well. I love your flowing gestures and the bridge and the building of the bridge. You had, as you watch your replay, you'll see that you have some repetitives in there, but they weren't distractive. It was that bridge and you came back to it each time. You kept coming back to the building of the bridge as well, which is really important. You had two dominant styles, which I didn't really distinguish too much apart. Situational, which was precise and logical and so on. And then you go into your second one where you would be inspiring and you're direct. It was rather interesting. That's the way the results came out. Now, when you were running on the spot, this is where I saw some actual energy, personal energy coming through. And I would invite you to connect to that feeling, even though you're an introvert. Connect to that feeling, because now you're participating with other people, even as an introvert. Yes, it can be exhausting, but it can also be fun. So I'm extending an invitation to you to have fun, even as an introvert. You can do it. That will allow you to be more encouraging. And you came back to a lovely closing of know that those bridges build, and they can be built inside you. Thank you so much for a wonderful speech. Look forward to more. GE? Dan? I think we lost again.
Dan is not there. I don't think he's here.
Alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and ask for.
All right, so that's all right.
Okay, Bram.
Thank you very much, Sandra, for that particular evaluation. Our next evaluator is going to be Nicole White. If you can spotlight Nicole White for me. And she's going to be evaluating Mr. Paramjit Singh. Over to you, Nicole.
Thank you, our fill-in general evaluator, Bram. Hello, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Moving into evaluation for Paramjit. I'll start with the area you excelled in, Paramjit. The first one is the structure. You asked me to look out for this, and as well as how you incorporated anecdotes in your speech. I found your structure effective. I like the anecdote about your wife and the basketball game, and we were able to hear the difference in your communication style and theirs. When you started, we heard your premise right away, and that premise that you were cognizant that we must change our approach when we are communicating with others. And you gave us 3 clear examples of people or groups of people you communicated with. Example, your manager, friend, and family. You effectively use humor to connect with us from the get-go. Example, when you asked us a question, how many of you had spoken these words? And you told us, congrats, you are human. And you did well and excel in terms of your facial expression and vocal variety. Third, your call to action. And this was effective. As we were able to comprehend that we all have different communication styles and we need to understand them to communicate better. With that said, you accomplished the purpose of the speech, which was to learn about your communication style and the impact it has on others. Where you could improve on to elevate yourself to the next level. The first one is, you mentioned your boss and speaking in Java or C++, and I am not sure that the audience is familiar with those terms or jargons. So I would caution you to find a creative way to bring these terms to life for the audience. Second, there were a few instances where you change your thoughts mid-sentence. But I would suggest when you make an error, just keep going without making it obvious to the audience. And finally, I would like to summarize by encouraging you, Paramjit, to plateau to the next level. And as mentioned earlier, this was an effective speech. It was informational, and the audience was also inspired. looking forward for more great things from you. Back to you, General Evaluator Bram, for now.
Thank
Dan,
you.
you're back. Over to you. You're back.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you for that. My apologies. Blackout in Africa. We had a blackout, and so that went off. But here we are, back as always. Now we go on to our next evaluator, who is Singh, and he will be evaluating Hannah Schmidt. Holmes, please tell us about your evaluation, your feedback on Hannah's speech. Over to you, Holmes.
Fellow leaders, we all have a role to play. If our team members are not taking ownership, not responsible, and not curious on how to do things better, we as leaders need to examine our leadership style. Hannah did a wonderful role today to remind me of the importance of leaders and their leadership style on the impact of the team, the performance of the team, as well as the future of the team. I was deeply impacted by the structure of her speech. She started off in her main body with her own story where bad leaders resulted in her quitting the job. She left. And then she moved on to the story of good leaders being able to foster ownership, responsibility, and creativity. This contrast triggered memories in me of my different working experience and completely resonated that once I was a follower, I was so impacted by my leaders. Now that I'm a project manager leading people, the burden is heavy. Thank you so much, Hannah, for reminding us of the importance of leadership. An area in which I hoped Hannah would have done in her speech to allow the message to sink in further would be to add on pauses and to express her emotions more. Why do I say this? Hannah ended her speech at 6 minutes and 10 seconds. She could have spoke for another about a full minute or slightly more. In this case, let's take a look at the story of quitting. When she said she quit, she could have expressed it a little bit more and explained how. I was so stressed on a daily basis. I didn't know what to do. My health was taking a toll. So I had no choice. As much as I wanted to stay with the company, I had to leave. Such moments of emotional expression would have left a much deeper impact on me to believe more in your key takeaway. In summary, Hannah did an excellent job today to remind us of the responsibility and the burden we have all as leaders. An area she could work on is in terms of the pauses and emotional expression for the message to sink in deeper. Thank you so much. Back to GE.
Thank you, Holmes, for that very helpful feedback for Hannah, also encouraging, and then the points that she can work on. Dan, I think you put it very well with that. So someone can consider the points, what can I work on, and then summary, how does it work? Well done with that. I didn't mention for Nicole's evaluation, also well done, Nicole, giving constructive feedback to Paramjit. Things that we can consider. Sometimes yes, this is a bit wrong. So not just putting them down, but saying, this is what you did. How could you consider this different way? So very well, also very positive, so that the person comes out and we learn from what they've done and all the pointers we can actually incorporate into our own speeches going forward. A masterclass, this is what it is. Our last evaluator is usually Joseph, and usually please give us your feedback on our speaker. Over to you, usually, for your evaluation.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator. Greeting again, colleague Toastmasters and guests. Toastmaster Brown, you have presented a captivating speech and in which you had a lot of humors. And as you work on the path engaging humor, you have asked me to evaluate you on that. Let's say, first of all, you started your speech by asking a question to the audience that captured everybody's attention. You brought as well some childhood memories, some ups and downs, the dynamic of sibling relationship. For those who have sibling in the room, it was great to catch their attention and make all of us think about our own relationship with our siblings. And it was fantastic the way that the humor was well thought out and incorporated into the speech as well. Like the blue two-straight dress on your cousin, no snow country, and the story about the fence as well. Your reaction and your grandmother's reaction. You conclude by providing to the audience some life lesson that you learn from your grandmother. Don't break the rules, or at least don't get caught by breaking them. That was great for the conclusion. What to consider in order to improve your humor as your path saying engaging humor. You can work more on creating some surprises in the jokes. When the jokes are coming, don't make the audience already feel that the humor is coming. Create surprises for the humor. And I realized I was looking at the audience as well. When you tell the joke, it takes some seconds for the audience to realize that it was funny and to react to your humor. So you can work on that as well to make the audience more responsive. And you did not respect the time because it was read long time ago, and you will continue to talk. You can work on your time as well. This is another aspect to work on. Other than that, congratulations to Toastmaster Angela Brown. It was a wonderful speech. I laugh. I like it. As I grew up with a grandmother as well, I understood your speech and I found myself in your story. Congratulations. And congratulations for the laugh that you, and congratulations for the life lessons. Back to you, Mr. General Evaluator.
Thank you, Yusli, for that also helpful evaluation of Angela's speech. And it's interesting how some aspects of our lives all are the same. I remember Angela speaking about the glass on top of the wall. That's very common also in this part of our world. Also in Kenya, we have that happening quite a lot. Some people might not know it, but we see it. You also, the feedback gives us a perspective for something I cannot see. How can I change it? But very well done, usually, and you pointed out the areas that you can work on, how the audience took it also. Great area to help us learn and to grow. Thank you for that, usually. I think you did that well and good summary. What you just consider probably conclude, because we went on, let's conclude and also check on your timing. But well done with that evaluation. Back to Angela, helpful for her, helpful for all of us. This brings us to the end of our evaluation section. I will now call on the Zoom master to launch the polls for the better evaluator and also ask the timer to put in the timings here. Thank you for the timings. Our timer report There we have it. And for the timing as we have that's happening, we'll then end. We're going on to now the reports. And the first report, before I go on to give my own report, will be the report from the grammarian. Let's vote as you're voting. Let's vote for the better evaluator. Who do you find had something back? So please make a vote for the better evaluator. Let's do that quickly. And then we move on to a report. Gara, please tell us how we done.
Hello, General Evaluator. I've heard like more than 10 considerate using during the meeting. I've also written many sentences, but Pips used more, said most of them. So I'll try to use different ones. I like Zahra's when she said building bridges, because it takes time to build the bridge. And also for Hannah, she said leadership when we pursue a clear purpose and with right vision, resistance is breaking free. And also Angela, she said, look at us as for her grandmother. She looked at them like a lion. And finally, I can say that getting things done right, as we said for Francoise, and also we have like replace free with faith. Thank you so much. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Gada, for that succinct report on how we did. Very well done. And now to my report of the general of our meeting. When I joined Leadership Speak, I found a difference, and many of us find a difference in Leadership Speak. Leadership Speaks, we meet every Saturday of the year, except you'll only find in December when we have holidays, probably we won't meet, but every Saturday we meet. And I found some people sometimes ask me, and what I thought also, isn't that a little bit pressing? Isn't that a little bit much for the people who come for meetings? Isn't it a little bit much? It is not. And because of having self-directed leaders, everybody has their part. Very well done, Phibian. 2 weeks in advance, we come in, we practice, we do our part. Everybody knows what they're meant to do. So you'll never find a member of the Leadership Speak saying there's too much happening. They have planned it, they know what they're doing, and the meeting runs well. So 2 weeks in advance, the plan is done. Each person is called upon, and we meet. And that's why the meeting runs so smoothly. Thank you for that. Well done. The coordination behind the scenes, 2 days when we meet for coaching and then for practice, ensures that we have a clean bill of health. And this is what's happening in our meeting today. And you see how it runs well. Some of the considerations that you might maybe make: technology. We cannot control technology. Sometimes things happen, someone drops off. Maybe we could consider, we handle it very well, but maybe you consider also, if this happens in technology, what is our backup? So it goes very well. So our backup is quick. No one just thinks about it. If I dropped off, who can take over? Or would be a good thing to have. That's one of the things of one consideration we might make. Congratulations to some of the members. I've seen Hannah. Hannah, you are evaluating the toast, and you had a speech also, making the most of Toastmasters. Well done, Hannah. You are teaching us what a self-directed leader is, grabbing a lot of things and doing it well. Thank you for that, Hannah. Done well. Our prepared speakers, thank you. Thank you, Francois, for the lessons taught, bringing in people to that. So it's not about what's the take from the audience? What are we learning from them also? What can we put out there? Because it's a two-way street. It's not only about us lecturing, it's also about getting back. We also have one of the things that makes Leadership Speak a top club is the communication and always reaching out to the guests. We are at about 67 members, always at the top. And this is it, the connection. When you join Leadership Speak, all members come in and reach out. You reach out to each member there. So we're not overloaded with what we do. Even if we do there are things we are helping in. And this has been shown very well happening here. I got kicked off also. I got kicked off because lights went. In Nairobi, lights went completely. I have a backup, but the backup does not switch on quickly. But it still runs smoothly. Despite this headaches, it still runs very smoothly. Thank you to all members for doing this. Great. Let us consider probably working on this technology sometimes that we cannot control. What can we do that if this happens, we can make it more smoother? Because it's still very smooth, but how can we make it smoother? And the lessons we learn as we reach out there, a few people will reach out to the members, but besides a few people who reach out to the members, we're like our education committee is a big group. Also, let us help out also the membership and reach out. And that's how our membership grows. All in all, a great meeting, Phibian, a great meeting, all our members. Thank you for the direction they give. Thank you for the feedback. Thank you for the lessons. My notebook is full of great lessons I've learned in this speak. And if we attend every time we learn, guests, please come again. Don't just be a guest. Come in, engage with us. Come in and learn. Be part of the growth that we're seeing. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to our Toastmaster of the day, Phibian. Back to you.
Thank you, Dan, for those feedbacks. And one of the things is that feedbacks helps us, not only our speakers, it also helps the guests who are here today, because by listening to those feedbacks, you are able to take them away, and to improve your daily life, to improve your club, to improve yourself. So we must give thanks to those feedback. We must give thanks to Dan and his team for those valuable evaluations that was being done. I will now call on Maureen for the thought of today. Hi, Maureen.
Hello. Leading with optimism. The pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Watson Churchill. When we lead with optimism, we create opportunities, inspire those around us, and build bridges toward a better future. It is essential to consider different perspectives. Communication is not about speaking, but about being understood. We often feel like no one understands us. Being brilliant does not illuminate others, but true leadership lies in listening, being considerate, and leading from behind, allowing others to shine. One key takeaway from our meeting is the power of resilience. When difficulties arise, we can choose to see them as failures or as lessons. As Nelson Mandela said, I never lose, I either win or learn. This mindset full optimism and progress. Leading with optimism means having unwavering faith that every ending is just the beginning of something greater. It is the ability to always rise again, rise again, rise again. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, and thank you for reminding us about the importance of leading in optimism and how to lead in optimism. Zoom Master, can you kindly post our best effort speaker and evaluator? Thank you very much. Our best speaker today is Toastmaster Paramjit. Give him a round of applause. And our best evaluator goes to Toastmaster Tony. He is not here right now, but I'm sure he will be updated on being the best evaluator for today's session. You can reach out to Toastmaster Tony and Toastmaster Paramjit to congratulate each and them on their efforts. Ladies and gentlemen, and our dear guest, thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to Lead with Optimism. And with all of these golden nuggets that were shared today, I'm sure your baskets are filled and you will be taking away lots of stuff. Thank you very much. I'll now call on DTM Ram to meet with our guest.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster of the Day, Phibian, all the way from Guyana, Georgetown, or no, Kingston, right? Or whatever it is, sorry, I forget. Thank you for being here and really conducting an excellent meeting today. We learned a lot about leadership speak. There, the speakers from all over the world. And now it's time for our dear guests. I've been speaking to some guests as usual on the chat here. So before I actually speak to some of our guests, let's see now. We have Irene Stamapolo. She's from Greece, so I can hardly pronounce that name. Irene, are you there?
Yes, I am there here
And the
listening to
reason
you, Bram.
why I'm mentioning Irene is that she has put in an intention to join Leadership Speak, and we're hoping that she will be joining officially from April the 1st. We're waiting for a few official things to happen. Over to you, Irene. How did you find our meeting today?
For another time, it was an excellent meeting. Thank you for having me here and a great opportunity to learn by all those advanced speakers, and also the evaluators were great. Thank you for that.
Wonderful. And we will connect again on WhatsApp and continue with your application. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you, Bram.
Amazing. We also have a gentleman called Satish K. And Satish, are you there? While we are waiting for, oh, there he is. Satish,
Sir, I
if
am
you
in
can put on
a
your
gym.
video.
I am in a gym, so I'm just not
You
able
are in the
to
gym.
video. So anyway, I enjoyed your meeting entirely. It was a well-organized, well-set meeting. I used to attend your club meetings several times. So anyway, keep on doing the same meeting for more and more times. Thank you for inviting me for this opinion. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, Satish. You can join us as many times as you like. But are you considering a membership? Where are you? And tell us which city you're joining from.
So I am from UAE, Abu Dhabi.
Oh, all right. Okay. So you are
So
with
member,
Paramjit.
I was a member in Dubai Toastmasters, but I will join some other club in Abu Dhabi. I recently shifted to Abu Dhabi.
Oh, great. Okay, awesome. Well, you're welcome to join us as a guest in the future as well, and continue with your gym. Thank you, Satish.
Thank you very much.
Have a great day.
Ramadan Kareem.
Thank you. And of course, we have Moharrer and Amore join us today. Hey, Moharrer, how are you?
Hello, hello. I am here and
And
Amore
there's
is
Amore.
here, and his toy.
So
Now I just
so
want.
good to see you. Now I hear that you're going to go for biryani soon.
Oh yes, let me tell you, I was so curious, and I am going today for the biryani to an Indian restaurant, and my friends know where is a place that we can have it. So I will give you the feedback, and I think that is the first time that I will try. Yeah. And I need to collect everybody's.
It's so good to have you here with your cat. And please do visit us as many times as you like. Of course, I hope that you will be able to get WhatsApp on your phone or a new phone that gets WhatsApp on it so that you can join as a member. It's a prerequisite to being a member that you have to be on WhatsApp. But please do continue visiting us in the meantime. Thank you for being here, Maura, and bring Amore as well next time you're here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
And I really appreciate it. Yeah.
I love cats. How many of you here have cats?
Me.
Nobody else? Okay.
Oh.
All right. I think with that, we have spoken to all our guests, and then we have regular guests here as well, so that's fine. With that, ladies and gentlemen, I will now give this control back to our Toastmaster of the day, Phibian. Over to you, Phibian. Mr. Zoom Master, if you can spotlight Phibian.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bram, for that. And this brings us to the end of a wonderful meeting, Lead with Optimism. To all our guests, we must thank you once again for attending this session. Thank you very much. To Master, kindly stop the recording.